Hi. So I'm finally home from the hospital, which is awesome. I thought they were never going to get me out of there. The release took forever. But today is a pretty special day in my life because exactly 1 month ago, at this time of night, just after 9 o'clock, I was actually checking into Tampa Hospital to receive my transplants. So I kind of want to recap how that entire day went because they always say that you're going to receive that phone call when you least expect it. And I don't know if I was expecting it or not, but it was my sleep-in day because with kidney failure, you need to sleep a lot. So I slept in the morning. I woke up. It was one of my best friend's birthdays, Laura, and we had planned on going out to lunch, all you can eat sushi. So I met pretty much everyone at the sushi place for lunch. All of Laura's friends were there, which meant all of my friends were there, which makes it even better. And I ate more than my weight in sushi. I even ordered dessert. And I said to the waiter, I said, bring me 2 scoops of ice cream. I want the chocolate and the green tea. And I turned over to Laura and I said, I think this is gonna be my last meal. She goes, what are you talking about? I said, I just ate so much food, I could go a week without eating again. She kind of laughed and she goes, well, maybe you're gonna get that phone call today. And we kind of joked about it. We laughed about it. I went back to the office for a little bit. Went to pick up Lincoln from Jiu-Jitsu because we had his curriculum night at school to go to. So after I picked him up, we came back to the house and Lincoln started crying. And I was like, what's wrong? What's wrong? He goes, Mommy, my eye hurts. My eye hurts. And I was like, why does your eye hurt? What's wrong with your eye? He goes, it just hurts. I think there's something in it. So we walked upstairs to my bathroom where I have eye drops, and I sat him down on the toilet seat and I opened up the little jar of eye drops and told him to tilt his head back, and he's like, Mom, no, Mom, no. And then my phone rang and I looked at my phone and it said transplant team. And I looked at the clock and it was 5:45 in the afternoon, and they never call. They never call after 4 o'clock. And I looked at Lincoln and he looked at me and he goes, Mommy, it's your organs. And I picked up the phone and I never got the eye drops into Lincoln's eyes, actually. When I got home from the hospital the first time, the eye drops were still sitting on my vanity with the eye drops and the lid to the eye drop container. And so it was one of my transplant coordinators on the phone, and she said, how soon can you be to Tampa Hospital because we found you a match? And I just broke down in tears. So at this point, Lincoln and I are laying on my floor, crying our eyes out, and she starts going through the list of questions. Do you have a cold? Have you been sick this week? The list of questions was probably maybe only a 5-minute phone call that felt like it took an hour. She told me that my donor was a male and he was under 18 years old, and that was all the information that she could give me. She said that there was a possibility that the organs could be high risk, which I could do a whole nother series on high risk organs. By the time I got my transplant, that had actually been removed from the criteria. But so they told me I needed to be at the hospital as soon as possible to get checked in. And so at this point, I'm in total freak out mode. The first person I called was actually Lincoln's dad, which of all people to call. But I called him and I said, "How soon can you be to the house to pick up Lincoln?" And he goes, "I'll be there in 20 minutes." So, and then I have a group text message. We kind of call the girls the Broad Squad, and there's 8 of us on this group text message, and they're kind of the go-to girls. And I said, "Who can be to my house in the next 30 minutes to go to Tampa with me tonight?" And Shauna was the first one to respond back, and she said, I don't have, can I borrow panties and a sweater? She's like, "I can be there in 20 minutes. So her boyfriend Gabe came over to the house. I called my good friend Sam Gurgis, who is a pilot that has planes, who had offered to fly me to Tampa for my transplants. And Sam said, "I've got to get gas in the plane. Can you meet me at Page Field in 30 minutes? And I said, "Absolutely, I'll be there." And little did I know that Shauna has an extreme fear of really small planes, but she sucked it up and got on the plane and stayed with me all night. And thank you, Sam, for flying us to Tampa that night. We left Page Field. I got my phone call at like 5:45 in the afternoon, and we got to the airport. I think we left somewhere between 7 and 7:30, and I was in Tampa by 8:45 at the hospital. They checked us into the room, and yeah, so it was absolutely just, and I can't believe that it was just 30 days ago. I've been through a lot the past 30 days, from, let's see, spending the hurricane in the hospital, being released, being readmitted. I've been released from Tampa General Hospital. Today was the 3rd time this month, and I feel wonderful. I had some sort of little bug. They don't know exactly what it is. There's one little small pocket of fluid that still hasn't completely drained from my belly, but there's no infection in it. So they're just gonna let it, from the CT scan that I had about over 2 weeks ago, it's showing improvement. So they're not completely concerned or worried that it's going to be anything serious. They took me off of antibiotics, the strong antibiotics, today, so that's good. All of my lab work looks absolutely fantastic. Tomorrow will be my 1-month kidney pankiversary, is what we're going to call it, which I'm very, very, very excited for. So all of this happiness and joy, it's been really difficult for me today, because at the same time that I should be celebrating, there's a family that's mourning the loss of their little boy, which breaks my heart. After hearing from his mother and speaking with his sister and his aunt and their family, they're an absolutely amazing family, and they are so incredibly strong to not even think twice. Someone just tried to call me, sorry about that. That after they lost their son, they didn't even think twice to give, stop calling me, people. They didn't even think twice to give his organs to other people. And they saved 6 other lives with 8 organs, including the life of a 16-year-old girl who received his heart. And I am forever blessed and grateful and thankful for them. And I'm incredibly excited to get to meet them next week. and they've invited me to attend his memorial service, which I know a lot of you have shared his GoFundMe page and donated to his family. And I would like to thank you all for doing that, because there were a lot of hospital bills and expenses and that went along with this. And if everyone could please just say a prayer for their family, because today and tomorrow, yesterday, was very, very difficult for all of them. And, you know, and I don't even know, I don't have the words to explain, like how it makes you feel that you're able to live a wonderful life when someone has to lose theirs. It's bittersweet, heartbreaking, and I'm truly, truly blessed. And I just have to think that God has a plan, and whatever the plan is, that's just how life rolls. And you know, it's sad, but seeing his family see everything that I'm doing with my life brings joy to them, which brings joy to me. And I can't thank them enough. And I cannot wait to hug Eli's mother. And I am truly, truly excited. And we're going to get to meet this week, which I just can't wait. So that is kind of how my day went 30 days ago. At this point, Shauna and I were holed up in the hospital room, and we were waiting to make sure everything was a complete match. The organs got to the hospital at approximately 6 o'clock in the morning, somewhere between 4 a.m. and 6 a.m. They came into the room and let us know they were there. They had already taken probably 40 tubes of blood from me. And what they do is they kind of match and cross-match the blood to make sure, the blood and the tissue and the antibodies, to make sure everything is going to function perfectly together. I remember them coming into the room at about 6 a.m. and saying everything is perfect and everything is good to go, and it is spot on, perfect match. And I looked at Shauna and we both just started crying, and they said, we're gonna come get you for surgery sometime between 10 o'clock and 11 o'clock this morning. They said, take a shower, try to relax. Yeah, try to relax. And that was just, I think we maybe got 1 or 2 hours of sleep that night. So my last meal was with all of my friends, which was absolutely amazing to celebrate Laura's birthday. And then we had the most beautiful sunset as we were flying into Tampa. Thank you to Sam, and thank you to Shauna for getting on that teeny tiny little plane and making sure that I was calm when you probably needed just as much calming as I did. And my mom actually, she had gotten to the hospital before I got out of surgery the next day. So she booked her ticket and took the first flight out of Tucson so that she could be there with me also. And I guess I'm gonna do another day of surgery update tomorrow, because there was a lot that goes on with that, and I don't want to drag this one out too long. But thank you so much for all of the prayers. Everything is good now. I have a little bit of a sniffle, but other than that, all of my lab work is perfect. All of my levels are perfect. All of my medications are working perfectly. And I feel great. I'm getting ready to go to bed. Everyone that says I've been doing too much, I'm definitely taking it easy. The only thing I'm doing tomorrow is going to church. Other than that, I'll be in bed until further notice, until my doctor's appointment's on Tuesday. Thank you all. I love you all, and God bless.